Welcome everyone to week 3 of the Puma Leagues. I'm your host, Brian Bisbee, and with my co-host,
Albert Lamb.
We want to welcome everyone to week 3, where everything's gotten shaken up a little bit, with some clear leaders in the league stepping up.
Painfully so.
Yes, and with the lucky win of the week, we're going to start off with the Emperors beating Gotham Rogues, which incidentally is one of the lowest scoring games I have seen thus far, even thinking back to last season.
It's true. And Bradley has consistently done really well this year.
Yes, he is currently 3-0. A very strong lead so far.
Puts him in the top 3, I believe.
I believe so. And let's go down to the player breakdown. We can see that Bradley had some good choices, but his quarterback did well. He had running backs that performed well, but beyond that, it was single digits for everyone else.
There was really only one other thing that Brad could have done that would have made a good solid point differential, and that would have been to pick Gurley and to put him up for one of his running backs.
Yeah.
But then even then, only if he had replaced Miller, and it would have only made a 10-point difference. So
I think if he would have replaced Benjamin, he would have gotten 14
pretty smart.
Yeah.
He was pretty smart this week with his choices. So good job, Brad.
Yeah, and I can think, LA versus Tampa Bay, that's the Rams are always kind of questionable. It's hard to see if they're going to, what kind of game they're going to come out with, whether it's going to be running or passing. So I can understand his hesitance, and probably Gurley was suggested for low points.
Yeah, that's unfortunately, last week was my control condition. Every week has been an experiment, and I stand by, we'll get to it later. Because we'll get to my game later. But I think that for the most part, that has been the most successful parameter, is picking based on points received by overall team based off of previous year statistics. Not the general projections for players, but the general projections for teams. Those seem to be less of an upset, point-wise.
Good way to consider. Hopefully we can see it making some difference soon. And let's look over the Gotham Rogues, which sadly had an abysmal week. With the exception of the QB, nothing over 6 points.
I genuinely feel sorry for Mitchell. This is really painful. This is one of those situations where, once again, like myself, he got really low in the picking for drafts this year. He ended up with a lot of 4th, 5th, even 6th picks for what he got and what he ended up with. I know that these are outside of Eli Manning. I don't know if most of his team or players, and maybe the 49ers might be the only other thing. Maybe Bennett. I don't know, but I think that's the limit. I think the rest of it are like 4th, 5th, 7th string player choices. So he's really struggling with it.
I think Fitzpatrick can do well. I think it might have just been an off week for him.
Yeah, you're right. He's pretty heavily. He did pretty well. He did 20 points his first week, 14 second.
Yeah.
6 last week. This week, the one we're talking about right now.
Looking at this trend, I know he's projected for about 12 or 13 next week, but if he continues the trend, he's going to end up in negative.
-6.
Negative 2.
We're going to be praying that doesn't happen to your team, Mitch.
That'll be bad.
Coleman did 26 points, and it would have obviously made a big difference point-wise, but he did so little across the board.
Wouldn't have one up for him, yeah.
There was literally nothing he could have done this week to win.
Bacon and eggs and MacArthur. You are correct there.
Okay.
And this is a very sad upset. I was winning until Monday night's game, and then Anthony's QB came out strong. Anthony also continues with his 3-0 streak.
What's him and Brad? Maybe are they the top 2 right now? Does anybody else have 3 victories? It might literally be him and Brad. Look out for his Bob, Brad, and Gothard. Okay. Yep. Congratulations, guys. Crafty, amazing intellects.
Exactly.
Luck mongerers. Okay, I'm gonna stop myself from turning into adults. Okay.
Anyways, looking down at the breakdown, I had some good luck with Blout, Rogers, and actually my tight end performed for once, which was amazing.
Nice.
Which I got 15 out of.
Nice.
Did okay on defense. Kicker was kind of I'm thinking about swapping that out at some point. Cobb disappointed me. I thought for sure he was going to get a lot of touches against Detroit. And
Was that projected based off opponent?
it was kind of projected off. He was projected for like 7 or 8 points, but I thought he was going to do better just because they were playing Detroit, and that was kind of leaning into it. Like obviously Rodgers performed a lot, but
so they were supposed to do well as a team against Detroit.
Yes, which they did.
Okay. Yeah, but he didn't have a play.
Nope.
That really stood out. It's hard. I mean, you can only take so many statistics into the most successful gambler I've ever seen in this game. He has a complex series of algorithms that take into far more account and detail than we do as a group. As is to my knowledge, for all I know, Keaton is somewhere talking to people, going on like backside websites, like checking out weather statistics. But that's the only thing that you can really do in order to really mar out, besides making as many intelligent choices as you can. And the only thing that you were missing once again was a wide receiver or a running back. And then even then, it really was your wide receiver that you could have taken the gamble with, because you had a 50-50 chance of putting Blount out for some reason.
And I thought for sure Buffalo was going to do poor against Arizona. That turned out heavily wrong. And Denver versus Cincinnati, I thought, I figured they would win, but I thought it would be more of a running game.
Yeah.
And, he had 2 touchdown receiving, so I'm happy. I'm really hoping that Fitzpatrick does well this coming week. Yeah. Because he earned -2 points last week.
Negative, my gosh.
And I have to, and Rodgers on his bye week, so I have to run him.
Oh, well, let's take just a real quick second on this. We won't take long. He did 15 his first week, 21 his second week. So there's a 50-50 chance that you're probably going to end up with something over 10 points.
Yeah, he's projected for around 12, I think. Anyways, looking at Anthony's team, he had solid numbers across the board. His tight end did okay. But the thing is, Jones versus the Packers, he was like the entire Denver points. He had 2 received touchdowns. He rushed. He had 205 receiving yards. That's incredible.
That's insane.
If he didn't, if he would have done if the defense for Packers did a little better, held one of those touchdowns off or something like that, I would have been fine. But no, he did an amazing amount of points.
And he has nothing on his bench that's impressive.
Nope. Anthony made the right choices this week.
Very lean. Good job.
Next is Santa Rosa Tramp Stamps and Jenny MacArthur.
Good job, Shane.
Which had the Tramp Stamps' first victory, so puts them both at 1 and 2. So that's, I think, kind of a good thing for Shane. He just had an amazing point turnout. And I know Jenny always, looks tough, but she had some bad luck this week.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Hope. I think she's distracted with real life. Yeah, but all in all, though, she made some pretty good, intelligent decisions. She really actually outperformed most of us bench-wise, because she only left 1 behind, like I did. Not to give myself a compliment, but I was going to say that there was that 1 wide receiver. And then even then, once again, had she chosen poorly who she benched, she would have basically ended up with the same exact point value. Maybe even a little less.
Yep.
So, she did basically the best that could be expected. Shane, on the other hand, he left a running back on the bench that made almost 20 points. He left a wide receiver that made 15. So, really kind of the same thing.
The only thing he would have swatched if he swapped out Watkins. Everyone else did well. And performed as good or better than the compounds. I think everyone on the bench performed less in their position.
Because he wouldn't have been.
Jackson would have been a little better than Brown, but if you would have swatched out either one of them for Watkins, then he would have been okay.
That's it.
Because he just got 0 points, but still an amazing week. His 24 from Hyde, Breeze with a solid almost 26 points, which was just a high scoring game, because that's what Anthony wants, because neither of their fences showed up for shit. But anyways, looking at Hope, I think her biggest thing was Matthews just lost points, and that was it. Her kicker got her 15 points, which is amazing. Her Broncos, defense did all right. Matthews did okay. Mitchell
Neither
and
of
Laundrie,
their defenses did great, but none of them did terrible, I suppose.
Yeah. Mitchell, Michael and Landry did really good. solid choices. Is just, Wilson did kind of, under par for a QB, point wise, and Shane had a great week. Tramp Stamps just came out strong. But that's the breaks, and she has a strong team, so I think she'll do good again next week.
Yeah, hopefully she'll do better next week.
Moving right along, and we have soccer versus Clickster.
Ooh, man, David, he's been doing pretty well consistently. I mean, I did not see him 2-1. Yep.
And Clickster shares your 0-3 record.
Yeah, it is painful. It means that Keaton, myself, and Mitchell are all tied for last right now. And it's not even that we have the lowest amount of points. It's just we're consistently not getting the points during the weeks we need them.
I know. If we look down at the breakdown, both QBs were low average, but Palmer only had 3 points. Just a really tough loss versus Buffalo.
That is brutal.
And
your QB get. I mean, luckily he did get -6.
But yeah, I would say even though David's Woodhead got him 0 points, but the fact that Hilton, Hill, and Freeman all gave him over 20, did really well. But the standout for it was the Chiefs' defense.
30
versus the Jets.
5. Well, you know what?
That is just amazing.
I thought the Vikings were awesome, but the Chiefs just outperformed probably every defense in the league.
That was incredible.
That's incredible. That is amazing. They're going against the New York Giants, right?
The funny thing is, they're going against Pittsburgh this coming week.
Okay.
But they scored 1 point, 7 points, 35.
I know, it's schizophrenic.
You just never know.
That is a perfect example. He couldn't have possibly. I mean, and it's not like Texas was a bad choice. They made 14 points their second week, 8 points. They made 1 point this week.
Yeah, and the Seahawks, I thought they would do good against San Francisco, and only 3 points. And then let's look at, Keane had Johnson and Baldwin do really well. His tight end Graham came out strong. His kicker Crosby, is a solid choice. Because even
There's nothing he
on
his done.
bench, he didn't really leave much on the bench.
No, he didn't. Cooper was the lowest performing member outside of his QB. He could have picked, even if he had picked Dalton and Crabtree, he would have only made another 8 points.
14, points.
12 points. No, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I thought it was a 6 and a 6. It's a 3 and a 6. Yeah, so that's not nearly enough. The only way Keaton could have won this is that if David had mismanaged his defense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
picked the wrong one.
Because if David had another, say if he just got 10, that would have been.
Well, Texas only got 1.
Exactly.
His backup defense was literally the end of his winning streak. If he had, he's on a two-part winning streak, so it would have put him back at a loss. But nope.
He made good choices.
So
good job, soccer.
Hopefully, I'm rooting for my fellow underdogs. I'm hoping that Keaton and
eventually you guys will play each other and someone's gonna win.
That's true.
Someone has to win.
Though that is always the hard part, is when you're in the loser bracket and you start winning games. It's harder to feel good. It's nicer when you win and you're in the losing bracket and you beat a winner. But yeah. No, I get you. I get you.
And our final game of the week is Scrub Life Metropolis State Crusaders.
Ugh.
with the nail biter of the week of 0.5.
Damn it.
0.48 rather.
Damn it. I kept double looking at this from my phone. I was like 4 o'clock, I don't know, maybe 8 o'clock in the morning. I went for my phone. I have the app on my phone again. I delete it at the end of every league, after every season. And at first, I thought I won because the points were so close. It was like unbelievable to me. And I had to keep re-looking to see that is a 7 and that is an 8.
Yes.
So there's a 9 next to it, and there's a 4 because that's an 8, and that still beats a 7. Really hard. No.
You want to break it down what happened here, AJ?
Okay, so apparently without me this is my fault because life happens and sometimes we get distracted. I didn't realize that all 3 of my running backs, including who's on the bench and 2 who were playing, have gotten not only injured during their respective games, but also did not do well. And I had no points. I had 0 points for my running backs. 0. So I was operating this week completely on the QB, wide receiver, TE, backup wide receiver, kick, and defense. And what this means is that it is impressive that it was even a close game. Now that is what I've been telling
because if you would have switched out your tight end, you would have won.
Exactly, because the only thing I could have done different was the one thing that I could have changed that was a difference was my tight end, who, by the way, at least made points. Okay,
yeah.
So that very, very painful loss. I could have made worse choices because Vikings brought in 26 points because my Vikings are fucking on fire. Okay,
Vikings
Steelers
is a solid choice this year.
have -1, which makes me almost want to drop them.
Carolina's is disappointing me.
They're just not, but the Steelers are just not doing well in general. They've 5-6 points, -1. They're gonna make 4 next week. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah. The Minnesota Vikings are ranked 1 in the league right now as far as points.
Yeah, so the Steelers. The only reason I have the Steelers right now was to cover the Vikings during a bye week, basically, and I'm not even sure if that's worth it. So that's a whole other conversation.
If they keep doing those negative points, it might hurt you.
Might end up hurting. Yeah, exactly. It might end up hurting me. And then going over to Scrub Life, I mean, Bob made some pretty good choices, but he's basically in the same boat I am. Both his running backs did less than 5 points, which is kind of insane if you think about it. I mean, the running backs are the point makers of everyone's team.
Yep.
And this week, everyone's running backs, either one person did really well and the other person sucked, or you're in this game and everybody was like in some alternate Twilight Zone episode. It was all pass, and so
wide receivers all got the points.
We just did not do well. Parker was a point leader for him. It's always a standout when you take your highest.
Goddamn.
Yeah, I mean he has almost a 20-point wide receiver. He has 18. Patriots is a good, solid defense, probably like top 5 in the league. Does consistently well, and he left almost nothing on the bench that would have made a difference, except. I mean, really, honestly, he shouldn't have touched anything from his wide receivers. He would have lost points had he changed. So Bob did everything he could have possibly done right, and I congratulate him on his well-earned victory. Congratulations.
Yep, that kicker.
Yeah.
I wanted to point out that Bortez had 3 interceptions, and that hurt you a lot point-wise.
I mean, because that's really, I just needed I told you right now, the only reason, and you and probably most of the league know this, there's probably only 2 or 3 of you that really care, though. I'm waiting for Brady. It really is that simple, because Brady is going to come out the gate with a lot to prove this year. He's really, really angry about the suspension, because there's still a lot of contention about what it is and what it isn't. I mean, people who think he cheated, they think he cheated because they don't like him, because he's not on a team that they like. And people that defend him often just don't want it to be true. I'm in a nice middle ground where they didn't really have enough evidence to convict him. So the suspension is really more about appeasing the fans and making them feel like if someone gets accused of it, the NFL isn't going to not treat it seriously. This has nothing to do with whether or not he actually did it. You have a team that is managed, that is supervised, that is watched over. If the Patriots had upper management doing things like that, the idea of punishing the QB for the crimes of someone who's who's at a higher level of management is just bullshit. Is what it is. It sucks.
I fully agree. But
sucks.
AJ, I want to point something out.
Wait.
That your thought process is definitely not alone. He has a 98.8% own percentage, which means almost every league has one person sitting on him going, he's going to come out and kick ass.
He is going to make, I promise you, that he is going to make no less than 26 to 28 points his first game. He is going to be a nightmare this year because he is so angry about what they did to him.
He has a point to prove.
He is that good. And that's the part that really bothers me, is that most people don't seem to get this, is that if Brady was a shitty fucking player, and that one game he did amazing, absolutely it would look fucking weird. And it would be fucking really hard to defend him because it would make no sense. He consistently made almost 30 points a game last year. He was the reason I won so many games. And so the idea that Brady needs to cheat in order to win is my number one defense for Brady. And he earned that. So anyway, that's it. My Brady rant.
Looking to week 4, which has begun because it's Thursday. I am facing Mitchell. I am projected to win by about 18 points, but we'll see what happens.
I was going to say, on Mitchell's side, he has got to drop some people. He's got some nasty things going on.
He had limited practice with Atlanta, but
yeah,
they're playing Carolina. They could do well.
I'm talking about his backup players. He's
DMPs, DMPs, a limited 3 limited practices and 2 did not practice.
Yeah, he's probably waiting until next week to make these decisions, so that's okay. I get that. I respect it.
Yep, he can sit on a little bit. And then we have the Emperors and Scrub Life. And this is going to be a prime match because someone's losing their perfect streak.
That's true.
Brad's projected to a strong win of 20-plus points.
I'm pretty sure.
We'll see what happens, though.
True. I'm gonna say I probably give this one to Brad, though.
Yeah, I'm thinking
just by looking at the team.
I think Minnesota, because I think Minnesota's gonna crush the Giants.
The only thing that doesn't look good on Brad's team is the Panthers. I don't know if the Panthers look like they're going to generate the kind of points the Patriots are going to do this week with their defense.
No.
Though, that being said, Patriots are not projected to do terribly well.
It's against Buffalo, which has been strong, and Atlanta has a high-scoring game, which makes you think it might be a low points for both those defenses. But you never know.
True.
And then we have Kevin the MacArthur versus Center as a Tramp Stamps, which is Anthony looks to continue his winning streak.
No, it looks like it's based off just projections. It looks like it's going to be a really close game.
A 2.4 projection difference, roughly.
I definitely won't call who was going to win this one ahead of time. I don't think
there's
I have
some limited. The thing is, Shane needs to look out because he has a limit. Did not practice with Watkins. I'm gonna look real quick and see.
Cardinals has been. I mean, that was a big upset.
He might miss the game. We'll see. Right now, he's scheduled for maybe not playing at all versus New England, but. Yeah, we'll see. Buffalo's, Metropolis Straight Crusaders, which are already out with one score versus the... sorry. Soccer's already got 1 point above you with one player out there. And you're projected to lose by about 11.
Yeah, unfortunately, the only way I win this week is if I drop all my running backs and try to get some new running backs. And the problem with that, of course, is that all the running backs that are left are like really low tier because we just gobbled them up during. This is a big league this year. We have 10 people instead of 8.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to start trying to figure out some trade. Maybe think about switching out like a tight end, maybe one of your backups or defenses for someone.
The problem is I like the players that I have outside of them, and I don't really want to get rid of them. And obviously, it wouldn't be very sportsman to get even if I could convince someone why would they trade, so I'm just gonna have to go with those
waivers and hopefully
it is what it is. It's okay.
Yep. Okay. And then finally we have Jenny MacArthur versus Clickster, and Keaton might have a great chance to finally beat his losing streak this week. He's projected to win by 9 points. What
is going on with Hope? Oh, she's got 3 bye this week, that's why. So she's only got Jennings, Gronkowski, and Henry.
Yeah, and Nelson on the bench hurts because I think he's been performing well too.
Henry has not been performing well. Not meant to perform terribly well this week. Looking at things, nobody on her bench so far that I've looked at is positioned to make more than 6 to 8 points on average.
Nope.
So she's probably made the best choices for her. And then let's look over at Keaton real quick. He put Crabtree on the bench again. I don't know if that's a great idea.
Baltimore, we'll see. What's he projected at? He's projected to be... Oh, yeah, he's projected to be at 5. I believe that.
That is... He's projected to make... is that 17.2 this week? Palmer.
Oh, I think so, yeah. He's projected at, 17.2.
He can't put Dalton in anyway. Dalton already played this week, so
yeah.
He doesn't have a choice.
Nope. And
Palmer was my backup QB last year, outside of Brady. Palmer did pretty decently well, and in fact, he had I think he had the most points of any QB in the league. I think that he did so consistently well. He was way up there, like the top 5 or something like that. I mean, not the most, but he had, because I think Brady had 1 or 2 really nasty, terrible games last year, which pushed him off, but Palmer had consistent points. So.
We'll see what happens. Well, thank you for watching, everyone. We'll see you next week for Week 4 wrap.
Bye, guys. What if that's what we all see before we die? Is Nixon coming up to us, telling us it's going to be okay?